Ladies and gentlemen, I am a starter third. It is very nice to meet you. I just had a battle. It was probably the most epic battle in existence. And I advise you to go downstairs, pop some popcorn, and then come back. Because this will take quite a long time. And so, let's begin now. Alright, so this is against my good friend side of the gang. He's going to lead off with a Skarmory. I'm going to lead off my Politoed to set up the rain. Then I'm going to go for a Skull, predicting him to just stay in and go for Stealth Rocks. He goes into Gastrodon. I think it's toxic. Then it toxics me back. And then it just sucks because this thing just gave me status for no reason. I'm going to go out into my Skarmory because I predicted him to switch out to his Blissey. Then I go for a Stealth Rock because I wanted to see if he will set up the Stealth Rocks. He did set up the Stealth Rocks. Then he's going to go for Aromatherapy. After he goes for Aromatherapy, I'm going to go back into my Azumarill because I know my Azumarill could possibly go for a Superpower or some other powerful move like Aqua Jet in the rain or something, but then he just goes and has to switch back out into his Skarmory, and then he switches out into his Gastrodon to take that. Then I'm like, oh my god, I had to switch back out into Blissey because I know my Blissey can take anything this thing's gonna do. He goes for an Acid Armor, which is very stupid because I've never seen Acid Armor before, and a Gastrodon that's just ridiculous. And then I'm gonna go for a Wish or something, and I'm gonna go back out into my Politoed so I get my Politoed to get some Wish back up because it has no way to recover itself because it has Damp Rock because I need the rain is set up for like 8 turns. So I go for a Toxic and I toss it again, then he goes for another Acid Armor. The thing gets like +3 defense. This is silly right now because I'm going to switch back out into my Blissey because my Blissey can take whatever this thing's going to do. Then you just switch it right back out into his own Blissey. Okay, I'm like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. I need to set up another some heal bell or something so my thing doesn't get toxic because it toxics me back. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is stupid, but it's okay because I have natural cure. Then you're going to go on to a Skarmory, and then I'm going to go for a switch out into my Mawile, because I know my Mawile can easily go for its Mega Evolution right now, which in fact it didn't. So I go for a Play Red, because I figured he's going to switch back out into something else, predicting me to do for something else, but then he goes for a Whirlwind. I'm like, oh my god, this is stupid. Then he goes to my Mori Show, then I'm going to switch right back out to my Goodra, because then my Goodra can possibly go for a Thunder, or a Focus Blast, or a Draco Meteor on him. But then he goes on to his Blissey, because he knows Blissey can take all those attacks, and his Blissey only takes about 17%, so this leads me to believe this is going to be a special defensive Blissey. The rain goes away, so this is kind of stupid, so I go for a Focus Blast. It does absolutely nothing to this stupid Blissey, and it's going to be going for a Toxic on me, which is okay because I have Hydration and I have Water with the Politoed, and so I go out into my Azumarill. Then I'm gonna go into Politoed again because I figured that he was just gonna go for, I don't know, and then I'm gonna go right back out into my own the Mawile. Then the Mawile is going to be going for a Play Rough because I figured that this thing was just going to switch out or whatever, it didn't matter. He goes for a Skull and he burns me, which is very stupid, but it's okay because I have Heal Bell and I have Wish in my Blissey, and it'll be easy to bring this thing back in if need be. Then I go onto my Blissey because I predicted him to switch out into his Skarmory because I know he wanted to set up his Stealth Rocks, or if he wanted to go for a Roost or something, that'd be fine too. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that burn because I know that I can't have my Mawile burn, and then he's going to go onto his Garchomp, and then now I can't go for a switch out into my Mawile. I'm going to go back into the Mori Show, and then I'm going to get my Wish back up, and he's just going to go for a Stone Edge. It's not really going to do that much after I go for the Fog. I knew he was going to be KOing me because I have, 140 base defense, and then, oh my gosh, so I'm gonna go for a Roost, and then I'm gonna go for another Roost after this because I figured that he was just gonna actually go for a Whirlwind, whatever. Anyway, he's gonna go into his Pinsir. This is kind of ridiculous because Pinsir is gonna be not doing anything for me, so I'm gonna go set up with Stealth Rocks. He goes into his Blissey. This Blissey really can't do much to me at all because this is Blissey and it has nothing to hit me with at all because all my moves, all my typings or whatever, I'm immune to his Toxic, and then he doesn't have any Seismic Toss or anything. So anyway, he's gonna go out into his Skarmory again. I'm gonna go into my Goodra, get the Wish back up, which is pretty awesome because now I'm gonna be able to go for a switch back out into my Mawile because another Mawile can possibly KO the thing, but whatever. He's gonna go ahead and go into his Goodra, and then he's gonna switch out, and then I'm gonna switch out because I figured that he might have been faster than me, and then he was just gonna go ahead and go for a Flamethrower, and I didn't want to take that, so I'll go into my Blissey, and then I'm gonna go for a Wish because I needed to go for a switch out into my Mawile so my Mawile can get his HP back to full, so I don't have to worry about that thing being halfway dead. And then I do go ahead and have a safe switch into it, and then it gets his HP all the way back to full, and now we're back to square one. So as you can see, I'm gonna go ahead and switch right and stay in and go for a Play Rough, and Play Rough's gonna do 25%. I'm gonna go for a High and Head because I figured he's just gonna go for a Whirlwind or a Roost or something, and then I'm like, oh my god, is he faster than me? And then he happens to be faster than me, and I look stupid. So I do get a crit, which is great, but okay. I hope you guys are enjoying the side chat, by the way. It's pretty entertaining. If you don't like watching this, you can go ahead and watch that chat because that's Gastrodon, I predicted that switch, so I'm gonna go for an Ice Beam and KO it. So now that thing is gone, and I finally took out one of his 6 billion Pokemon. So I'm gonna go into my Blissey because I know Blissey can take anything this thing's gonna do to me. I'm gonna go for a Wish, I do believe, after this turn, and then I'll be able to go ahead and either stay in or be able to just go ahead and get my own health back to full because I have Protect. But I don't want to do that right now. I'm gonna go ahead and go on to my Mori because I know that Mori show can easily take a +2 anything from a Garchomp. But I'm gonna go ahead and go for a Whirlwind because I figured that he was just gonna stay in and go for whatever he wanted to go for. And I'm like, okay, that sucks. So I want to see what this Goodra did, so that's why I stayed in and then went for a Roost afterwards because I wanted to see how much damage he's gonna do and if he was like one of those kinds of Goodras that did the thing and the thing. Anyway, I'm gonna go into my Mawile and then he gets a crit and I'm like, okay, that sucks because now I can't take his Flamethrower because I figured he had Flamethrower. And then he does go for Flamethrower and I do predict that correctly, and then now my Blissey's gonna go ahead and not take that much damage. And then we can go for another Wish because I need to get my Wish up back to full, and so I'm gonna go for a Seismic Toss. It's gonna do 28%. That thing is gonna so I'm gonna go ahead and go for a Wish, and now I'm gonna have to stay switch out into my Mawile, and then I'm gonna get my health all the way back to full again because Wish is great in this generation. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch right back out into my Blissey because I know that my Blissey can easily wall this Skarmory because he has no way to attack me, and I can just go for Seismic Tosses or Wishes or whatever I want to. But then he's gonna go ahead and whirl me out into my Goodra. Then Goodra is gonna go ahead and switch out into Politoed because I figure he's gonna switch out into his Blissey, which he does in fact do. So now Blissey is in here, and I'm gonna get my Wish all the way back to full, and then now I'm pretty sure he's gonna go for a Toxic as I go for a Toxic. The only reason why I went for Toxic is because I want him to be more inclined to go for Aromatherapy, because after he goes for Aromatherapy, because it only has 8 HP, it's not going to be able to be as a problem because he's going to eventually run out. And then I'm going to go into my Azumarill because I know my Azumarill can easily just wallow with this thing and whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and go for an Aqua Jet because it's raining and I figured that it's going to do a lot of damage. And I hope for a crit this time, and I didn't get a crit, and then going to Roost always back to full, and this stupid thing is still around pestering me. Now I'm going to go into Goodra, because I figured my Goodra was going to be able to come in safely because I figured he's just going to go for a Defog because he has a Pinsir, and I figured he'd be more inclined to just go ahead and get rid of all the things, right? So then he's going to go ahead and Whirlwind everything on my team, and then I'm like, okay, this sucks. So I'm going to go ahead and go for a Seismic Toss, I do believe, on this turn, Wish, and then I'm going to go ahead and Seismic Toss this. No. Yes. Goodra. Whirlwind. Mawile. Okay. Next go to a Mawile. I'm gonna go ahead and switch right back out into Skarmory because I need to get rid of these Stealth Rocks so he stops whirlwinding me out, and then I can finally get something done in my life. But then he finally goes for the Defog after a billion turns, and now this is great because now I can go ahead and not have to worry about him going for Whirlwinds and me taking residual damage. But then again, he goes for another freaking Stealth Rocks, which I have to get rid of, and then I go ahead and get rid of it, and then now he's gonna go on to his Goodra. I'm gonna be scared of that, so that's why I'm gonna go on to Blissey, and then he goes on to Pinsir. This is gonna be so stupid because I'm not gonna set up a +2 with his Swords Dance. Oh my god, it's gonna be ridiculous. So he's gonna go ahead and stay in and go for a return. That did 54% to a max defense Blissey. I happen to whirlwind him out into a Blissey, which is perfect for me because now I'm gonna be able to get my health all the way back to almost full. So now the next time this thing comes in here, the Pinsir, I mean, that thing is not going to be able to KO me with a return and not return sweep my team. So then he's going to go for a Defog. I'm going to go for a Whirlwind because I figured he was just going to go for his own Whirlwind, but then he goes onto his Blissey after I whirl him out, and then the Defog made it so that I don't have any rocks up, and then oh my god. So now I'm going to go on to my Politoed, and then I'm going to go over a Scald, and then I don't get the burn, and I turn 76. We have a long way to go. Alright, so then he's gonna go for a Protect, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just I'm gonna go ahead and Wish. And then I'm gonna go ahead and switch out into Goodra. And then I'm gonna switch out again because I didn't want him to be oh, I didn't. I stayed in. Okay. I stayed in figuring that I was faster than him, but then he goes on to his Blissey. Of course. I hoped to get a crit on this Focus Blast, but I didn't. And then now he's going to go for his Soft Blade and get his health all the way back to full. Isn't that great? So now I'm going to go ahead and go on to my Azumarill and oh. Oh. Heal Bell. Wish, Switch, Gudra, Stealth Rock, back in the Skarmory, Whirlwind? No, Blissey, the Fog, Stealth Rock after the Fog? No, Gudra, and my brain. I'm gonna go onto my Blissey after he goes for a Thunderbolt, and then I'm gonna go ahead and go for a Seismic Toss because that's the safest thing for me to do at this point. And then he's gonna go ahead and go into a Skarmory. I'm like, okay, this is very bad right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and go for another Seismic Toss, hoping that he'll maybe whirlwind me out into my Azumarill, in which case I should be able to go for a Superpower because he'll try to go for a Wish. But then that doesn't work. He goes on to his Blissey. He goes for Protect. I go for a Wish because now I don't have to worry about this thing doing much of anything to me because I have Natural Cure. He goes ahead and Toxics my Azumarill again. I figured at this point, okay, let's go ahead and just leave it alone. I'm fine with that because now I could just go ahead and let everything on my team get toxic because now I realize at this point, with it almost being turn 100, that this is going to take quite a long period of time. He's gonna go out into his he's gonna go out into his Pinsir, set up a Sword Stance again. Then he's gonna go for a return because he has Aerialate. That's gonna be a Flying type return. I'm gonna go for the Fog. Get rid of the rocks because I knew that my the thing couldn't do anything to me. Now he's gonna go for a Roost, and now I'm gonna go for my own Roost because I want to be at a lot of health. I do believe. Yes, I go for a Roost, and now I'm gonna go for a Stealth Rock because I need to set up my rocks, and then he sets his own Stealth Rocks. I don't want to get defogged. So I mean, I don't want the things to be up, so I'm gonna go ahead and go for another Stealth Rock pretending his Defog, but then I'm gonna go for a Defog that predicts my Defog, and then I'm gonna go for a Stealth Rocks, and then he's gonna go for his own Stealth Rocks, and I don't want these things around, so I'm gonna go ahead and go for Stealth Rock again, because I figured that he was just gonna go ahead and do it again, and then I'm gonna go ahead and go for a Stealth Rock, because I figured he was gonna go for a Defog, but then I go for a Defog after he just goes ahead and just whirlwinds me out. Now Politoed comes in as he switches out into his Blissey again. This is why Skarmblitz should be banned. Anyway, he's going for Ice Beam, and he's gonna go for Aromatherapy, of course, and now he's gonna go ahead and still be alive after 111 turns. Alright, we're almost there, guys. Halfway there, I should say. Okay, let's go ahead and go into Mawile, because I know my Mawile can do a lot of things to this Blissey, presumably. But then again, he goes to Skarmory, and I'm just gonna go for a Play Rough. No crit. And then now he's going to be able to do whatever he wants. So I'm going to go ahead and go on my Skarmory because I didn't want him to set up a Stealth Rock, and I just wanted to fog him immediately. But then I happened to go into my Gudra, which is yes. So I'm going to go ahead and go for a Thunder because I wanted him to go into his Blissey and hopefully get the Paralyzed, and I could Para-Hax him until this Blissey dies. But then again, he goes for Toxic, and I missed my Focus Blast. I'm gonna go for a switch right back out to my own Blissey, because I know at this point, I don't care about him much going for Toxics on everything on my team, because like I said, I have Heal Bell, and I don't want to waste those. So then now I'm gonna go ahead and go out to my own Blissey. Oh god. And then he's gonna go set up his Stealth Rocks, and this is stupid because now the Stealth Rocks are gonna prevent me from switching out to whoever I want to. So I'm gonna go hope and go for the Fog, and oh man, oh this is hard. Oh man, so he's gonna go out into his Gudra. I'm gonna run out of breath, and then I'm gonna go for a Seismic Toss as he goes out to his Garchomp, which is very good because any damage on these other Pokemon, which is great because these things can't heal themselves, and his Blissey doesn't have a Wish, so that means I can go ahead and hopefully set up my own Stealth Rocks and then whirlwind him out if I can just set up some freaking Stealth Rocks. Alright. So he's gonna go for a Defog. I'm gonna go for Stealth Rocks, predicting his Defog, and then I'm gonna switch right back out into Gudra, and then he goes out to his own thing. So now this is good for me because now I can go ahead and just try to go for a Thunder, and I do hit it, and then I don't get paralyzed. Still, I still didn't get it. Okay. All right. So he's gonna go for Roost. This is great for me, because now I can go ahead and whirlwind. Oh, I didn't. That happens later. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and defog and get rid of the... I'm gonna get rid of the rocks. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get whirlwinded as he goes out into... Oh my god. And then Gudra... Oh. I'm gonna go for an Iron Head, hopefully get a flinch. I don't get a flinch at all. I just get whirlwinded out into my Azumarill. I probably should have just went for a superpower right there. But then, of course, I go ahead and I go for Ice Punch. Didn't do a thing. And then now I'm going to go into my Mori Show, because I know that Mori Show can easily set up some rocks now. Or just go for a Defog. He sets up his rocks. I set up my rocks. He goes for a Defog. I set up my own Defog, because I didn't want him to have the rocks up. He goes for Stealth Rocks. I go for Stealth Rocks. He goes for another Stealth Rocks. I go for Defog. And then I'm going to go ahead and set up on the switch. And then go on to my Blissey. Okay, let's reset. Okay. Alright, he's going to go on to this Blissey. I'm going to go ahead and Seismic Toss it. And then he's going to Whirlwind me out again. And then I'm going to go ahead and go into my Skarmory after getting Whirlwinded out. He's going to go onto his Gudra. I'm going to Defog because I don't want any rocks up. He's going to go into Pinsir, predicting my switch into Blissey. I'm going to switch out into Skarmory. And then Skarmory is going to go ahead and take the return like a boss. Okay. Now we're going to set up some Stealth Rocks, because there's no reason not to. Fortunately enough, he goes onto his Blissey, which means at this point, since he can't do anything to me, I'm going to go ahead and Whirlwind. And then I go and Whirlwind out into his Blissey, of course. I'm hoping that I'm going to Whirlwind him out into his Pinsir. And then he goes onto his Blissey, his Skarmory. I'm going to go ahead and Whirlwind it out again. And then, of course, Blissey comes back in. Okay. Yeah. So now I'm going to Whirlwind again. I just lost Boil because he realizes that he's not going to get Whirlwinded out into his Pinsir. And he wants to be able to just go ahead and hopefully get Whirlwind out into his Pinsir. But then he goes out into his Pinsir. Now this thingy can switch into Stealth Rocks one more time before it gets KO'd. He's gonna go into his Garchomp. He's gonna go for a Stone Edge. I predict that, and I go for a Roost. Now I'm back to full. So now that I'm back to full, I'm gonna go ahead and go for another Whirlwind, and finally I'm going to KO his Pinsir. So that's the second Pokemon down, and it only took 155 turns. So now he's gonna finally get a save switch out into his Skarmory. I figured that he was just gonna go ahead and go for the Fog, but he just goes ahead and goes for a Roost, which is smart on his behalf, and I'm stupid. So I figured he's gonna go for the Fog then, but he didn't go for the Fog at all. He goes for the Fog 1,000 fucking times afterwards. So now I'm gonna go ahead and go for another Fog. He's going to the Fog. I'm gonna Stealth Rocks. I'm gonna switch. This is just silly. There is no way in Sam Hell that Skarmbliss should be legal. Okay. Go on to his Blissey. I'm gonna go for a rest because I know that after a rest, this thing can't do a thing to me. I'm good. There's nothing he can do. He's gonna go for Protect. Waste his Protects, which is good because if it comes down to it, that might matter. Because I'm gonna Whirlwind him out, and then finally I'm gonna go ahead and Whirlwind him into his thing. I'm figuring at this point this is just fine because I get to go ahead and Whirlwind everything again, and I'm wanting him to get Whirlwinded out into his Gudra, and then that doesn't even happen at all. He's gonna go for a Roost again. I'm gonna go for a Whirlwind again. He goes onto his Blissey, which is great because it took more residual damage, and then I'm gonna go ahead and go out and just Whirlwind him again because yeah, his Garchomp is taking a lot more residual damage. This is fantastic because after a lot of residual damage, I should be able to go into my Azumarill and just go ahead and Aqua Jet. I predicted his Defog, which is why I'm for Stealth Rock. And then he goes ahead and Defogs again and goes onto his Blissey. I'm going to go ahead and try to set up some more Stealth Rocks. And I do set them up successfully as it goes onto his Gudra on turn 174. I'm going to go ahead and get Thunderbolted. I'm fine with that because I'm fine with that. He gonna go on to a Skarmory. I'm gonna go for Heal Bell because I didn't want everything on my team to be sleep and poisoned, and then I figured at that point it would have been a acceptable time for that to happen. He goes for a Defog. He gets rid of everything. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Okay, let's go ahead and go for a Focus Blast, and then it did quite a bit to that Blissey, so I figured, hey, let's do it again. I do it again, and I hit it, 36%. If I get a crit, I might take him out. But then again, guess what? He has Protect, and I only have like 3 of them left at this point. I gotta go ahead and just rest, because I mean, what else is there to do except sleep? At this point, we just. I'm gonna bring Politoed because I wanted the rain to be up, so I can go ahead and go on my Goodra and then allow that thing to just go ahead and get its recovery, you know, because of hydration and then waking up and that kind of thing happens. I'm gonna go for Draco Meteor as he had his Goodra out because I figured mine was faster, but then he's gonna go ahead and go into his Blissey again. Okay. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go for a Aqua Jet. I get a crit. If I get one more crit, I win. I don't get a crit. I don't get a crit. And do you wanna know what's funny? That Aqua Jet just now did 31%, right? And then the crit beforehand did about 47%. He should be dead right now, but for some reason he didn't get KO'd. I'm gonna go on to my Skarmory. He's gonna go for a Whirlwind. I'm gonna go on to my Politoed. A rain boosted Scald should be able to take it out, but then he goes out to his Blissey again. I get scalded, I mean he scalds and it doesn't burn. Then I switch right back out into my Mori show, because I know that Mori can roll this thing to oblivion on turn 192. He's gonna go ahead and go on to his... Okay. I need water. Do I have any water? I don't have any water. He's gonna go into his Skarmory. I'm gonna go ahead and go for a Defog as he goes for a Defog, and once again we're defogging, and he's gonna go into his Goodra. I'm gonna go ahead and go all out into Skarmory or Blissey because Blissey can take whatever that thing's gonna go for. He goes for a Defog. I just wish, because I wish that I could just win at this point. He goes into his Goodra. I go out into my Zoomerel. Get that thing all the way back to full. I'm gonna go for an Ice Punch because it's safe. And then after I Ice Punch him, I freeze him. I have only a couple turns for me to do this the right way, and if I don't do this the right way, I will lose. I go for a Play Rough, did 27%. He still froze. He has a 20% chance of waking up. I go for another Play Rough. He's at 29%. I go for another Play Rough, and guess what? He's still frozen. I'm gonna go for an Iron Head and eliminate him forever. And now the Skarmory is gone. On turn 205, I'm gonna Sucker Punch the Goodra. I'm gonna go ahead and kill that. I'm gonna go out into my Skarmory because I know at this point I can go ahead and take anything. I'm gonna Whirlwind him because I didn't want him to go ahead and just set up and have +2 attack. He's gonna go right back out into his Garchomp. I'm gonna go ahead and Whirlwind him again because I want residual damage, and then he's gonna go into his Blissey. I'm just gonna go ahead and just switch out into Mega Mawile. Then I'm gonna go for a Play Rough. I thought a Play Rough could have KO'd a Blissey, but nope, it only does about 80%. Okay, pretty good, right? Yeah, because now you can't go into his Garchomp without that thing dying. So I Iron Head because I didn't want to miss, and then I'm gonna go for a Play Rough and finally take out his Goodra. And now the last thing he has is his Garchomp. I'm gonna go to get the crit, and I get Aqua Jet. My skin so good. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you didn't run out of popcorn. And I'm gonna go die. Thanks so much for watching, and have a wonderful day, and goodbye. Ugh. Yeah.